The following program is brought to you in part by Time Warner Cable and the Madison County School System.
Hi, I'm Samantha Burford with Madison County School Sports Television, here today with head coach John Clark.
And I'm here to tell you to watch Madison County School Sports Television.
This programming is sponsored by State Farm Insurance, Jerry Goebel in Richmond, Luxury Pet Service, Richmond, Premier Rehab in Gibson Bay, CSEP, Madison County EMA.net, Davenport Custom Guitars, Richmond, Richmond Tourism, Time Warner Cable, Madison County Schools, ScenicCabin.com, Faith Created Assembly of God Church, and Tatum Enterprises. This program is sponsored by First Gear in downtown Richmond and ProSigns in Southern Hills Plaza.
Welcome to the Coach John Clark Show. Welcome to the Coach John Clark Show. I am Samantha Burford, your host for the Madison Southern Eagles Coach John Clark Show, of course, and we are here with him tonight at Jack Burford Chevrolet, and we're happy to be here. We're in front of a new wall.
Somebody found the paint.
I think it's orange. Is it orange?
It's
your color?
Yeah, we could add a little blue eagle on that and
that's
look
right.
good. Yeah.
Have a little.
We need a little southern up here in Richmond.
We do, don't we?
Be okay
I think
with
you've
that.
already been here once. And
yeah, that's true.
That's probably enough. But no, you can come by a car. How about that? I could see.
Oh, I see.
There you go. We'll just see. You can come back and
take
buy a
Richmond
car.
back to Berea, right?
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. All right, so enough about cars. Let's talk football. Let's talk about Pulaski County, the Big Maroons. I don't think the score was a really good estimation of how the game was actually played.
It was a game like I've never been a part of.
I'm sure.
I talked to our coaching staff. If you had told me that we would force 3 turnovers throughout the game,
yeah,
not turn the ball over, and hold them to 14 offensive points when they're averaging 50 a game and lose, I probably would have called you a liar.
Yeah, I'm
sure. So it was a very up and down game. But to their credit, they are a very good football team.
Yeah. Well, the final score, 21-18. Wow, you got to give them credit. They scored touchdowns on their first 2 possessions.
They did. It took us a little while to settle in.
Yeah.
I think we didn't tackle real well in the first half. That's been something that's been a strong point for us defensively this year. But that being said, we still held them to 14 points in the whole ball game. They didn't score after that offensively.
No, they didn't score the rest of
to
the
hold
game.
a team like that to that says a lot about our defense still.
Well, and I think it says a lot. I don't know what you said to him at halftime. We'll get to that, but I think
we might not get to that.
maybe not. No. And I asked you at halftime how you feeling. This was something very different than a different outcome going into halftime than what you were used to. I could tell by walking up to you, the look on your face was different.
Yeah, we've been down at halftime before. We were down against Central at halftime. We were down against Rockcastle at halftime. The difference here was we'd put ourselves in that position with way too many mistakes on our end, and you can't win big games by making mistakes. Big-time playmakers make big-time plays, win big-time games.
Right.
And we had some guys that didn't step up and do what they needed to do in that game, and that was a little frustrating.
Well, and this was homecoming. It was supposed to be a special game. I mean, and it was a special game,
yeah,
but it was a tough game.
Well, and the thing that frustrated me the most, the reason I was a little disheartened at halftime is the mistakes that were being made are issues in areas that we'd never had before.
You told me your men weren't staying in their lanes.
Well, on kickoff coverage, we didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why we gave up that kickoff. You know, we gave up that kickoff return, and we've done a great job of staying in our lanes. And then on, 2 guys don't on the backside of the kickoff return one time, and a good team will punish you. And they found the crease.
Right.
That was frustrating.
Right. You want to talk about your first possession? I mean.
Sure. I felt we had a good game plan coming in. The things we wanted were there.
Okay.
We drove the ball down the field the first series. We had a
Right.
4th down situation. Missed a really crucial block out of the backfield on the play. If we pick up the block, Damian probably scores on the play.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like that took a lot of momentum away from us to go for it on 4th down, inside our own 30 or inside their 30 down there,
Right.
and not come away with the first down conversion. And to know that it was there was even more frustrating. That kind of led to a snowball effect on offense of 9-10 guys doing the right thing. One guy misses his block. One guy doesn't stay on his block, and it led to those mistakes, which took us out of our rhythm.
Right.
So,
But you got the field goal. I mean, right?
the next series.
The next.
Yeah,
okay.
we came
yes.
back. We came back later and got that field goal, which
Right.
was great to see Garrison Watts come through when we need him. And we've talked to him about that. He doesn't kick a lot of field goals for us, but he's
Right.
he's 100% right now. He's 2 for 2 on the season,
Right.
and that's the way we need him to be. Feel very comfortable getting him out there with the ball, inside the 20-yard line right now if we need to.
Okay. So you've been happy with the way he's been playing.
Absolutely. I mean, he's been getting better as the year gone on. This kid has an unbelievable work ethic. I'd like him to be a little more consistent on his extra points, but we've talked about that. Early in the year, we weren't real consistent. He's cleaned it up. It's gotten better.
While we're talking about field goals, let's talk about Pulaski County's field goal. With the, they had some mistakes that they had made, or you guys have made mistakes. I'm trying to think back to because we're skipping around
Right.
here. This was such an exciting game, and there's so many notes. But I think there were some mistakes made, kept pushing them back. They had a kicker that kicked an extra long field goal.
Yeah, it was their extra point, and he's outstanding. I mean, that kid can hit from 50 yards.
Yeah.
He's a very good kicker.
We all just kind of looked at each
Yeah,
other.
he's
like,
really good.
Oh,
He's a really good player. He
That
really
went
is.
in.
Yep, and North Laurel's kid probably has a better leg. North Laurel's kid attempted like a 56-yarder. I think it might have been something of that nature last week. So
Yeah.
there's some good kickers in our
I didn't get
district.
that kid's name, but
Yeah, he's a
in
good
all
player.
my many notes that I was taking. But yeah, that was we all were stunned, looking around, the whole crowd going, "Oh, that went in. That was
Yep.
special." So not for you, but for
Yeah,
them.
he's a good
so
player.
he's a good player. Let's talk about their quarterback.
Riley Hall is outstanding.
Yeah.
We saw it last year. I knew after we played him last year, this kid is going to be special. Doesn't get near the recognition he deserves. The kid is a playmaker. They are balanced. They run the ball well. They throw the ball well. They check plays at the line. He is only a sophomore. The thing that is unique about him, one, he's an extremely accurate passer. As I mentioned before, he's got incredible quickness. His feet are quick.
Yeah.
He's hard to get to.
He carried the ball. I mean, when you look at his yardage at the end of the game, I mean, he had 70-some
Well,
yards
and the
where
thing
he
about
ran
him
it.
is when we thought we would get to him, and we're pretty athletic on defense, he has the ability to sidestep and to wiggle and make. He's not a blazer,
Yeah.
speed-wise, but he's very quick, and that quickness allows him to elude people and get positive yards.
Yeah.
He does not create a lot of negative plays.
Yeah, and he threw for 2 touchdowns. So,
Yeah, he's a good
so
player.
I think your quote in the paper was he's underrated.
Absolutely,
I
I
mean,
think he's one of the top quarterbacks in the state of Kentucky. I mean, to do what he does week in and week out, and we've seen all his film. I mean, and we played him last year, and they're doing a better job of protecting him this year than they
Yes.
did last year.
Yes.
So as their offense improves, I mean, he's an outstanding football player. There's no question.
Okay, let's take a break, and we'll be right back.
This program is sponsored by Jack Burford Chevrolet, right here in Richmond. And by Clayton Homes in Richmond on Big Hill Avenue. You're watching Madison County School Sports Television, home of the greatest announcers around. This programming is sponsored by State Farm Insurance, Jerry Goebel in Richmond. Luxury Pet Service, Richmond. Premier Rehab in Gibson Bay. CSEP, MadisonCountyEMA.net. Davenport Custom Guitars, Richmond. Richmond Tourism. Time Warner Cable. Madison County Schools. ScenicCabin.com. Faith Created Assembly of God Church. And Tatum Enterprises.
Hello everyone, I'm Madison County School Superintendent Elmer Thomas, and I want to thank you for watching Madison County School Sports Television.
Follow Madison County School Sports Television on Twitter. Or like us on Facebook, MCS TV. And of course, watch all of our videos on YouTube.
Welcome back to the Coach John Clark Show. I'm Samantha Burford, and let's talk about Harris. I think everybody likes to talk about Harris.
Sure.
And I think this game was a little different for him. Do you think he got beat up a little bit? I know that he... Well, I'm going to let you talk.
We didn't block well. The difference in this game was this is the worst game our line has played since I've coached them. I mean, it really is. We did not play well up front. We didn't stay on blocks. I went back, and as we watched the film, I had the guys this week keep track of all the plays that they stayed on their block 2 seconds or fewer. I mean, we weren't staying on blocks longer than 2 seconds. And there were a lot of plays where guys were on the block for 2 seconds and then not staying on it.
Do you think that's just because they're a young team?
No, I think it was a lack of intensity on our part.
Okay.
I think it was a lack of honestly, it was a lack of effort. It's the only first time I've felt that way, that it was a lack of just effort of trying to stay on our blocks.
Because as many times as I've interviewed you, I've not heard you say that in a very long time.
I've never said that. You know, I've never felt like there was a lack of effort until this week. Looking back at the film, I still feel that way. There's a lot of standing around watching Damian run instead of blocking for him, which is something we've done pretty good up to this point. I mean, we've been efficient up front this season. We've done a good job of getting a hat on a hat, staying on blocks, giving creases. You know, a lot of games there's holes where our backs won't get touched till second level. Now, our receiver blocking had been more of a concern early in the year. That has gotten a lot better. Our receivers blocked outstanding on Friday night. It was our line. We just did, and it wasn't one guy. It was 4 guys would block well, 1 wouldn't, and it's got to work as a whole unit.
Yeah.
And they know, and I coach them. You know, it's on all of us. You know, it's the accountability. Now, you know, we've talked about in the past before about in the option game, it may look like we're blocking well because there's guys unblocked. That was on purpose. And there's certain schemes that we run that may not look like they're blocked well, but we create creases in certain gaps. And our line has done an outstanding job up until Friday night. We just didn't play very well up front.
Yeah.
And that created, you know, that created Damian getting contact at the line of scrimmage rather than 2 or 3 yards beyond the line of scrimmage.
Exactly.
And this is a good defense. They flow to the ball. You know, there was a lot of effort on the other side of the ball getting to the ball. So I thought he ran outstanding. I really did.
Yeah.
Still ended up with 250 yards.
I know, which is incredible.
Yeah, it's outstanding. Now, I will say he carried the ball 32 times, which is too many. And it's not too many for him per se. It's too many for anybody in our offense. Since I've been at Southern, we've only had 2 games where a back has had over 30 carries. That's not what our offense is designed to do.
Okay.
All right, so...
why do you think he had so many?
Well, I didn't realize that. That's on me.
Okay.
You know, first half we only had... Typically we check his numbers at halftime to see where we are numbers-wise. We only ran 18 plays in the first half of the football game. So I did not realize till the end of the game that he had 32 carries. I did not realize it at all. Our game plan, you know, you go into a game with a game plan. And you're going to run. You put that, we game plan based specifically on what teams do and what we do well and what they give us. If things aren't working, we have answers. Well, what if those answers aren't working? And that's what we got into Friday night is I'm calling everything on my call sheet to the point where I've exhausted our play calls. We aren't the Little League. We don't, you know, we don't draw plays in the dirt that might be there. You have to practice this stuff, timing and everything.
Right.
So a lot of the things that were the answers weren't there, and it just led to him. The things that were there led to him getting more carries. The things that should have been there, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
If they aren't blocked clean, they're not going to be there regardless of if it's should be there or not. So that's what led to it. And that's something we've got to keep an eye on is making sure we don't have any backs carrying the ball that much in a game because that makes us too one-dimensional.
Is that why? Because I noticed that defensively he didn't play as much.
Yeah, he played a little bit later on after Buddy Harrison was hurt, but we play him less on defense depending on his offensive numbers as well. Buddy's been playing a great job at safety. Buddy hurt his knee, partial tear in his MCL. He's going to be out for a couple weeks. So that led to him playing a little more in the second half, but that wasn't an intentional thing. I mean, when we know he's carrying the ball, we try to limit it on defense as well, though, yes.
Okay. Do you think this week, is he banged up? Is he hurt? Is he injured? Or?
No, he's a tough kid. I mean, he's okay. I mean, he was sore Saturday. After 32 carries, I'd be sore Saturday.
Yeah.
So that's going to happen. You know, we limited him in practice today. You know, that's a lot of running on the legs. You know, it's a lot of carries, so we limited him in practice. And then, you know, he'll be fine. He's not hurt. He's ready to go.
Okay. Let's talk about halftime. What can you tell us what you said?
Well, we weren't real happy.
Right.
It was an effort thing. We weren't tackling the way we were taught to tackle. We weren't blocking the way we were taught to block. And we felt a lot of it had to do with either a lack of effort or just an intimidation of playing the number 2 team. I don't know what it was. You know, and our kids have always been work hard kids. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a deal that I don't think they showed up to the game and said, hey, let's not work hard tonight. That's not what it was.
Yeah, I don't see
their intensity.
Your men that way.
Pulaski plays with a very high level of intensity. Anybody
Yes.
who plays them will know that. That's a team that will play every play like it's their last down. We didn't match that intensity.
Right.
They played here, we played here, and we never matched theirs.
Yeah.
Up to this point, we've played at a high level of intensity the whole game. Our intensity didn't get to where it needed until our defense was backed up against the goal line, or when our offense was backed up against the goal line coming out, we were more intense. And after that last interception was probably the most physical the offensive line played the whole game. Mm-hmm. It was too late, though. We can't wait till that long in the game to decide to kick up our level of intensity.
Yeah. Well, your fans were there. I mean, they still had the cowbells going and everything. But it was, as a fan sitting up in the stands, it was much more quiet of a game fan-wise.
Yeah, and it's going to be. I mean, when you're down the whole game.
Yeah.
You know, but I think people need to realize, too, that this is a good football team we played. You know,
Yes.
and we lost by 3 to a team that scored 50 points a game. They have one of the largest winning scoring margins. I think they're winning by 40 points a game.
Yeah.
So we played tough against a tough team. Play that game again, it could be a different outcome.
And we're hoping for that.
We're hoping we get that opportunity. So as I told our boys, you know, in turning a program around, you got to learn how to play big in the big games. You have to. Once we learn that, we'll be there. But obviously, we showed we're not there yet. I'm not trying to take anything away from Pulaski. It's an outstanding football team.
Yeah.
Could we beat them? Absolutely, we could. But until we do, that's not the case.
All right. Let's take another break.
Okay.
When we come back, we'll talk about the second half. That's, as a fan perspective and media, I think that's, you know, the fourth quarter was exciting.
It was exciting.
So we'll be right back, talk about the second half.
Hello everyone, I'm Madison County Schools Superintendent Elmer Thomas, and I want to thank you for watching Madison County School Sports Television.
Follow Madison County School Sports Television on Twitter. Or like us on Facebook, MCS TV. And of course, watch all of our videos on YouTube. This program is brought to you by Hopper's Jewelry, off the EKU Bypass in Richmond.
Natural hazards can be scary, especially for kids. We count on the adults in our lives to help keep us safe. That's why there's a website that can show you and your family how to prepare for all kinds of hazards. You can learn what to do during disasters, like tornadoes, and how to plan for emergencies, like flash floods. Remember, we're counting on you to keep us safe.
Be aware. Learn how to prepare at MadisonCountyEMA.net.
Another great sponsor for Madison County School Sports Television is Madison HVAC. Visit them at MadisonHVACR.com. By calling Madison HVAC, you always know you'll talk to the owner. Give them a call. This programming is sponsored by State Farm Insurance, Jerry Goebel in Richmond, Luxury Pet Service, Richmond, Premier Rehab in Gibson Bay, CSEP, MadisonCountyEMA.net. Davenport Custom Guitars, Richmond. Richmond Tourism. Time Warner Cable. Madison County Schools. ScenicCabin.com. Faith Created Assembly of God Church. And Tatum Enterprises.
Welcome back to the Coach John Clark Show. I'm Samantha Burford, here with a not feeling very well, John Clark.
Yeah, sorry, I've got a little bit of allergies
It
right
is
now.
all
I apologize
right.
for my
Listen,
coughing.
Well, you guys are outside. The temperature's changing. I think
true.
it's not going to be even 70 degrees anymore. It's going to be in the 60s. So
It's football weather now.
it is, exactly. So let's start off with the third quarter. Let's talk about some of the big interceptions.
Yeah, our Riley Hall doesn't make a lot of bad throws. We had an interception by Casey Dion. He threw the ball a little high. His guy tipped it. Casey
Yeah.
came down with the ball, had a nice little 20-yard interception return. That was a big momentum swing for us, I felt.
Yes.
I felt that was a great play for us in the second half. Later in the game, they were driving. After we chose to punt the ball, they were driving down the field. And then Devontae Linville ended up with a nice interception in the goal line. And that was a time where I felt like our intensity was up because we had our backs against the goal line again. Devontae had a great pick with a nice little 28-yard interception return. I thought he was going to take it back to the house.
You did?
He was close to breaking. He broke a couple tackles.
Yeah.
But that led to our final score right there. The next play we scored coming out offensively. So that was a huge transition in the game from that interception to that touchdown. And then we tried the onside kick there at the end to get the ball back, but didn't get that done.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely seemed like a momentum shift for you
big
guys.
time.
And hopefully your men, went with it. I mean, as far as motivation, I think they played
It was the first time I
differently.
felt a huge urgency in the game.
Yes, that's...
And that's the urgency we should have had the whole game, and we were capable of that. We're learning still. We've not been in this position before. We've not been a fourth-ranked team in the state playing number 2. There's two ways to learn. You either learn by doing it or you learn by the mistake and then correcting it. We learned, hopefully. So we just hope that – I think this game was a great experience for our kids to learn now what do they have to do to win that big game.
Right.
So hopefully –
Because it's going to be tournament time.
Yeah,
I mean,
and hopefully we get an
close.
opportunity to be in a game like that again.
Right.
And it's not a close game. I don't worry about us winning close games. We beat Dunbar in a close game. We beat Central in a close game. We've won close games.
Yeah.
It's winning that big game and having that intensity the entire game to match the level of the atmosphere.
Yeah.
That's what we need to get better at, and we will. I'm sure of that.
What do you want to talk about in the fourth quarter? Because, as a fan, that seemed pretty exciting. We love the comeback.
Yeah. I was a little frustrated still. It's hard as a coach when you know what to do schematically to win, to move the ball, and it's not working.
Right.
And it's not working because of a missed block here or a mistake here. And that's very frustrating. That was very frustrating for me in the second half of the game. Aaron Sloan threw the ball outstanding. He was 8 for 12 passing for 88 yards. Had a couple nice balls. I know people probably wonder, why don't we throw more if he's so efficient? People forget, this kid's been with us for 4 weeks.
Right.
He's still learning a lot about our offense. And if everybody can remember back to a few weeks ago when we play Central, he has 5 turnovers.
Yeah.
The last 2 weeks he's had none.
Right.
The week before he was 6 for 7, no turnovers. So now we're going to progress him a little bit. 8 for 12, no turnovers. So now we'll progress a little this week. Maybe we can go, 13 of 16, no turnovers. So it's about a progression of him staying efficient without turning the ball over.
Right.
And so that's why we're not sitting back and just slinging it around right now. He's still learning and he's getting more comfortable. That being said, their coverage gave us some issues. They were pressing. We had some guys getting jammed at the line, not getting into their routes. We threw a couple balls to JD in the game that the timing was off on because he got jammed at the line of scrimmage. If we don't get off those jams, that timing doesn't work. The pass game's not going to be there. So that was an issue as the game went on.
Well, let's talk about Linville, and let's talk about the pass where he picked up that pass from Hall.
We took a from the interception.
The
It was down in the
interception,
corner of the end zone. Hall threw up a ball. Devontae went up and got it, tipped, and took it and brought it back across the field and
The crowd
made a
went
couple
crazy.
nice moves. And I mean, it's just one of those deals where you're becoming a better football team. When your back's against the goal line, everybody assumes they're just going to score, and then all of a sudden we take it away again. And
Right.
then our kids knew right away we've had a big play offense all year. We know that we can score right away. And the next play, boom, we score.
Exactly.
And the same play we've been running,
right.
the same stuff we've been doing, it was done right.
Yeah.
And then,
well, I think Harris broke 5 tackles.
Well, he broke a couple tackles on it too, and then we actually stayed on blocks a little longer as well. You mix those things up.
Right.
It's just a better football play. So it was an outstanding run by him.
Yeah. And then you went for the conversion.
And then we went for the 2-point conversion, picked it up as well. It was actually the same play we ran on 4th down early in the game where we missed the safety on the block.
Yeah.
And if we had got that many yards on it earlier in the game, we'd have picked up the first down.
Yeah.
So I was glad to see that got cleaned up as the game went on, and we were able to get that 2-point conversion in. The onside kick. Came back with the onside kick.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't done it a lot. You know, it wasn't, we'd like to put the ball closer to the sideline. Garrison's still learning how to do that onside kick, so we ended up kicking it right to one of their guys that was kind of near, just outside the hash rather than over by the numbers. I like our odds with our guys, speed-wise, to get to that ball. It just didn't happen. I thought they made a gutsy play. We had a chance to get the ball back. They were sitting at maybe 4th and 9, I think it was, and they opted rather to punt. They opted to go for it, which was a very gutsy call.
Yeah.
We had a punt block. We went after them the one before, and we were really close to getting it. And we felt we could get to it. I was hoping they were going to punt because I think we could have gotten to it. And we put in this punt block for their scheme during the week. And so we were geared up to go for it again. And we had the right guys in the right place. We talked about what didn't happen before, so we were ready to go get it. And then their offense came out.
Yeah.
I think he knew we were a little close to getting it maybe.
Yeah.
But and I don't blame him with a playmaker like Damian. With the ability that we had to go score at any given time, I wouldn't want to give our offense the ball back either. Yeah. I think his thought was, what's the difference if we give it to him here and it's 50 yards versus there and it's 60 yards? A breakaway is a breakaway.
That's right.
And Devontae hit a big play in the pass game. We hit a big play to the tight end in the pass game. And we would have taken a shot deep had that happened again. We took a couple shots deep that we didn't hit that we felt probably could have been there.
Right.
So. But they threw a little curl route, and our DB actually slipped and fell down.
Yeah.
So Alex Lane was in coverage. He had good coverage. He slipped and fell down on the break, and it was a good throw and catch.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking, but we didn't play clean enough. We really didn't.
Well, and it can't be, they can't wait till the 4th quarter.
No, it doesn't come down to that one play. That one play,
I mean, that one play could have changed.
Alex Lane had great coverage. It wasn't anything he did wrong. He slipped. I mean,
right.
That has nothing to do with the outcome of the game.
Yeah.
That one play.
All the good plays that he's made up until that one.
I would go back to the 4th down conversion on the first drive and say that might have been one of the biggest plays in the game too.
Yeah.
Because if we score on that first drive, it changes the entire momentum of the football game.
Yeah.
And then maybe the offense has a little urgency to them that we didn't have throughout the game. So there were some different scenarios that I think. Now, there were some good things to come out of this game. I mean, everybody can say what they want. Our defense gave up 14 points. I still stand by the fact that we have one of the best defenses in the state.
Yes.
And they proved that. You take away that kickoff return, they gave up 14 points against an offense that scores 50 a game.
Usually, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Forced 3 turnovers, against a guy that doesn't turn the ball over and a team that doesn't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
So I was excited about that. And then we did not turn over the ball on offense, which was great to see as well.
Yes.
So there were some good things. And our passing game is coming along. If people would remember, back to last year, our pass game wasn't very efficient early in the year either, but then by playoffs against Harlan, we threw for 258 yards and 2 touchdowns. So we slowly are progressing our pass game with a young quarterback, and it's getting better.
Right. Each game seems to just keep improving. What do you, well, we have to give some kudos and a shout out to Linville. I mean, he is the homecoming king.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome, isn't it?
We got to give him a little shout out.
Everybody loves Devontae. I'm not surprised by it. He's a great kid.
Yeah.
Very proud of him.
Yeah.
Last year, Brett Sipple was the homecoming king. He's a football player. And then Devontae this year. So, we're winning the crown every year.
Exactly.
We're keeping the crown in-house, which is great.
In-house.
No, but it speaks volumes of his character. He's an outstanding young man.
Yeah.
He really is. He is a man. He's a young man that's driven by virtue. He's a good character kid. He's a kid that when you're not around, he's going to do the right things.
Yeah.
He's just a really good kid.
Well, we were all worried they weren't, you had like, what, 5 on the court?
Yeah.
So we were all, looking around.
I got them out there,
They're
though.
already coming down, and we're like,
I got them out
is the team
there.
coming? Where are they?
We had some things we
You
had to get
did.
straightened out. But
Yeah, I
then there's
figured
no
you
way
did.
I wouldn't get them out there for a
Yeah.
moment like that.
And I'm
There's
sure
no
their
way.
mothers appreciate that.
Absolutely. I think everybody was worried I wouldn't. There's no way
Yeah.
we wouldn't get them out there.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, they came. Thank goodness they put them at the end.
I kicked
They
them out.
knew. They knew exactly. Let's take a really quick break. We'll let you get a drink, and then we'll come back and talk about North Laurel for next week. Actually, it's this week.
Yep.
We'll be right back. Hi, I'm Samantha Burford with Madison County School Sports Television, here today with head coach John Clark.
And I'm here to tell you to watch Madison County School Sports Television.
This program is brought to you by Hopper's Jewelry, off the EKU bypass in Richmond.
Natural hazards can be scary, especially for kids. We count on the adults in our lives to help keep us safe. That's why there's a website that can show you and your family how to prepare for all kinds of hazards. You can learn what to do during disasters, like tornadoes, and how to plan for emergencies, like flash floods. Remember, we're counting on you to keep us safe.
Be aware. Learn how to prepare at MadisonCountyEMA.net.
This program is sponsored by Jack Burford Chevrolet, right here in Richmond. And by Clayton Homes in Richmond on Big Hill Avenue. This programming is sponsored by State Farm Insurance, Jerry Goble in Richmond, Luxury Pet Service, Richmond, Premier Rehab in Gibson Bay, CSEP, MadisonCountyEMA.net, Davenport Custom Guitars, Richmond, Richmond Tourism, Time Warner Cable, Madison County Schools, ScenicCabin.com, Faith Created Assembly of God Church, and Tatum Enterprises.
Welcome back to the Coach John Clark Show. I'm Samantha Burford here again at Jack Burford Chevrolet. We want to thank them for letting us host the John Clark Show in their facility.
Yeah, I
and
appreciate you guys having us here.
yeah, working on the showroom floor, so maybe next week.
Saw there's
after
tile
you're-
in there. It's
yeah,
shiny.
Yeah, there's shiny and matte. So next week we'll probably be in there, so it's exciting.
that's cool.
So let's talk about North Laurel.
Yeah, it's
What do you
good,
think?
good football team. Physical. They're going to run the ball. They don't even try to hide it. They're going to line up. They're going to pound you.
Yeah.
They've been in some close games. They're a one-loss team to Pulaski, so we're in the same boat right now.
Exactly.
We're battling for second place in district.
Yeah.
It'll be a physical game, and we're preaching that, and I think we will bounce back. We're going to bounce back. We're going to be ready to play. I've met with our kids a couple times this week already. We had practice Monday. We beat them in JV 22-8 on Monday. Our JV team is still undefeated in district, which is exciting. They play Lincoln
That
next
is.
week.
Yeah.
So JV is actually doing an outstanding job this year. So we got some young guys really starting to figure it out. But I'm excited about this game. I mean, we're going to find out a lot about the character of our guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's really easy to be on board when everything's going well.
Yes.
We do a virtue of the week in our character program, and our virtue this week is resilient, and what it means to be resilient, to spring back, to bounce back after something has struck you, and we've talked about
Quite
that already.
appropriate for this week,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So we've got to bounce back, and we talked about how mistakes are nothing more than your greatest source of information to learn from. You can look at them and you can see them as a bad thing, or you can learn. There's nothing better than a mistake. You make a mistake, you now know how not to do something.
Right.
That's the best information about how to do it right.
And you want to do it now rather than in district.
So this has been a blessing for our program if we take it that way, which I think we will. I really do.
And the coaches. I'm sure you guys have met. You guys have instructed.
We spent Saturday morning, Coach Skinner and I, Saturday morning, and all day Saturday and Sunday had already decided what we need to do differently as well. I just sat here and told you, we're not an offense that needs to have a back having 30 carries a game. So we've got to tweak things too, and we're doing that. So it's great. This could have been the last game of the season if it's in the playoffs. Now we're fortunate. This isn't our
Right.
last game. So we have a chance to take that, what could
Right.
be your last game, learn from it, and move forward and get to maybe where we feel we can be. And we're going to do that. We're absolutely going to
Yeah.
do that. We're not a give-up group.
Well, and what's positive as well, as we want to mention, is North Laurel, actually Pulaski County scored more on North Laurel
They really
than
did.
you guys did. So, that could be good news for this week.
Well, and they've got a high-powered offense. They've got a good player in their quarterback. Excuse me.
Well, no, we feel bad that we're
I
making you here
apologize.
and we're making you talk so much.
No, but they've got a good player. Their quarterback, Nelson, he's number one. I think he's an EKU offer kid. He's a great talent, plays offense, defense. He's been battling a high ankle sprain and has missed the last 2 weeks. I have a feeling we'll probably see him this week.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
we'll
He'll be back.
but we're going to be ready to go. Their running back's physical. They're a physical team. They move around on defense, but we're going to be ready to go.
Yeah, well, good. Well, we wish you the best. Did we miss anything? Do you want to cover anything else? I ask you this every
Senior
week.
week this week, and
Got
our
it.
fans have done a great job of coming out and supporting the team.
Yeah.
If you want to see what this team's going to do after a loss, come out and support us on Senior Week. Come out and send these seniors off. They've done something that hasn't been done at Madison Southern since 2005, and that's win 6 in a row. And I know, we wanted to win the district too, but at the same time, there's an ultimate goal here to get better to make that playoff run.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's a group of seniors that can do it, it's this group. So we'd love to have everybody come out and support them this week.
Yeah, that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, if anybody's got the fans that's capable of doing that, I think you guys do.
The fan base has been awesome showing up at games. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and we've said this in past shows. I mean, the way they come out of that football game every week and meet up with their parents on the sidelines at the very end. I mean, it's just incredible to see how the fans really wrap their arms around them and say, you guys had a great game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they even did it this past week.
I know,
I mean,
and they should, because it was a hard-fought game
Yeah.
by the kids,
Yeah.
And one thing I love, and this is worth mentioning, is nobody likes to lose. Our fans don't like to lose as much as anybody. We've done plenty of losing. Now all the fans have come back out to the games, and
Right.
you lose a game, and there's all kinds of things to find wrong. But
Yeah.
you know what? I told one of my coaches the other day. We were joking about how it seems like everything we were doing before was perfect. We're doing the same things now, and now it's not perfect anymore sometimes.
Yeah.
And I said, but let's be thankful, whether they're in the stands and they're happy about the game or they're not. I'm just glad they're at the game now.
Yes.
So I'm
Yes.
glad that people are
Packed.
invested in it. None of us are happy about a loss.
No.
So it's awesome that everybody's there and supporting, and hopefully everyone will continue to do that, because this team
Yeah.
is not done by any means. We lost to a
Yeah.
good program Friday.
You're right. You're right. Before we let you go, would you like to comment at all about the recommendation from the Kentucky High School Athletics Board about the non-handshaking? You want to comment on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Here we are trying to teach, we run a character development program. We're trying to teach our young boys how to be men.
Right.
And we're recommended not
To have
to
any
have
sportsmanship. Right.
It shocks me. At the same time, I've emailed film to them repeatedly with inappropriate play in a game and don't get a response, but yet we have an opinion on a handshake at halftime or at the end of a game. I don't know. You know what? I'm not in charge of anything.
Right.
I don't run it. We're going to continue to do what we do, and sportsmanship is going to be a big part of our program, and if it costs me my job, so be it.
Yeah.
But we're going to teach them to be good sports, and we're going to try to be that example as well.
Well, I think you will. And it's a tribute to watching them play. And like I just mentioned after the game, they are very sportsmanlike. And it's a wonderful school.
I had an administrator come up to us this week, and it was awesome to hear somebody that said their coach, Coach Hines, knows one of our administrators and just had so much to say about the sportsmanship of our guys. Those two teams, that's a hard-fought rivalry. They've got a lot of respect for each other. Mm-hmm. Our kids have respect for them because of what they do. Their kids have respect for us. And it's just really neat to see our kids. Our kids were able to look at them and say, you got us tonight.
Yeah.
Hats off to you. You were the better team tonight. And
Doesn't make us happy, but
exactly. And I respect that about our young men,
mm-hmm.
that win or lose, they can look at it and say, you did a great job. Congratulations.
I'm going to shake your hand anyway. Yeah. Well, listen, we'll let you go. We know you're not feeling well. We want to thank you for watching. We'll be back next week to talk about the North Laurel game. We want to wish you lots of luck.
Thank you.
And I think you'll be fine. You don't need our luck. So anyway, thanks for watching The John Clark Show. Hi, I'm Samantha Burford with Madison County School Sports Television, here today with head coach John Clark.
And I'm here to tell you to watch Madison County School Sports Television.
This program is brought to you by Hopper's Jewelry, off the EKU Bypass in Richmond.
Natural hazards can be scary, especially for kids. We count on the adults in our lives to help keep us safe. That's why there's a website that can show you and your family how to prepare for all kinds of hazards. You can learn what to do during disasters, like tornadoes, and how to plan for emergencies, like flash floods. Remember, we're counting on you to keep us safe.
Be aware. Learn how to prepare at MadisonCountyEMA.net.
This program is sponsored by Jack Burford Chevrolet, right here in Richmond. And by Clayton Homes in Richmond on Big Hill Avenue. This programming is sponsored by State Farm Insurance, Jerry Goebel in Richmond, Luxury Pet Service, Richmond, Premier Rehab in Gibson Bay, CSEP, MadisonCountyEMA.net, Davenport Custom Guitars, Richmond, Richmond Tourism, Time Warner Cable, Madison County Schools, ScenicCabin.com, Faith Created Assembly of God Church, and Tatum Enterprises. This program is sponsored by First Gear in downtown Richmond and Pro Signs in Southern Hills Plaza.
Hello everyone, I'm Madison County School Superintendent Elmer Thomas, and I want to thank you for watching Madison County School Sports Television.
Follow Madison County School Sports Television on Twitter, or like us on Facebook, MCS TV, and of course, watch all of our videos on YouTube.